What's good, Ravens fans? Today we are doing a breakdown of some film study. Shout out to Jackson Kruger, I believe his name is. He breaks down the games. We're going to do this from our channel, from our perspective, a little later. We're not doing it yet because, again, guys, I got a job, so this is for the love of the game. This is free, so I can't make 1,000 videos a week. But let's break it down. Let's get into it.
I think it's fair to say the Baltimore Ravens had an odd game against the Carolina Panthers. If you look at Lamar Jackson's statistics, they certainly do not look very good. And when you add on to the fact that the Ravens didn't score more than 3 points until the fourth quarter, they only had 3 points in the first 3 quarters, you certainly would look at this and say, okay, well, they clearly didn't do too well. And there were some...
And again, right, when we look at this, let's take everything into account. Let's take into account the win. And all that, the code, all that stuff that does matter, especially to receivers who aren't premier receivers, right? To be honest, we got to take all that into account. And again, when you look at forget the interception, it was a fluky, but that's a 70% completion rating, not terrible, and 209 yards in the win like that. I ain't mad. Again, I hope, sometimes you do want to see Lamar get to that 300, but that's not really the game we play, so.
Issues, although I don't know if it was actually as bad as you might think. Once I watched the tape, I was like, oh, okay, they actually got stuff going, just kind of beat themselves in some fluky ways. So I don't really think I'm long-term concerned, and let me explain why. So first, we got to start off with this play. In fact, I'm going to start off with a few plays in a row. The first drive, we saw several drops. We would see the Ravens receivers kind of uncharacteristically not be able to make catches that we typically expect them to. Watch out on this play, Lamar Jackson.
So before we get into the plays, guys, you guys kill me about this, right? There's a couple of receivers for sure. Again, James Prochet and Bateman, who's not playing anymore, but they drop the ball too much, guys. It's unacceptable, to be 100% honest with you. And they can catch, right? But everybody can catch in the preseason, but they can catch. So I don't know why so many drops, but let's just look at what he has to say first.
Jackson is going to run a play action. He eventually fires, and that's going to be, again, a fullback. He drops it. That's kind of understandable.
That was my bad, guys.
Play action. He eventually fires, and that's going to be, again, a fullback. He drops it. That's kind of understandable. This...
I wouldn't say it's understandable. That was a perfect throw. You got to catch that. He was disappointed. He's a fullback, but you want to be the best fullback in the league, you got to catch wide open passes like that. I'm just saying. You got to be able to do that.
This one is going to be Mark Andrews, who does not haul in a relatively top one, but still one he...
And again, so that one, I wouldn't blame Mark Andrews on that completely. It was a tough ball. Also, the defender was there, so, he made a play on the ball as well.
He usually grabs. This is going to be another drop right there.
Unacceptable. 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 I'm telling y'all, unacceptable. You can't be my number 2 receiver dropping passes like that. Okay, Andy Reid would get you off the field, I'll tell you that.
So, several drops on this one, that last one by James Prochet. So, again, you're not talking about necessarily the greatest catchers, Patrick Ricard and James Prochet being 2 of them, but, obviously Mark Andrews is very good. And just, a couple of uncharacteristic drops. You expect most guys to make some of those grabs.
And again, I know what you guys are going to say, hey, Jason, the pass was to the outside. That's how you have to throw the ball in the NFL, guys. You cannot throw the ball. And the perfect example, when Baker Mayfield threw the interception that Humphries got, if you guys watched it, he threw it to the outside when Humphries was on the outside. So Humphries was able to jump it from the outside. What Baker should have done is he should have thrown it to the inside and low, so it'd be harder in order for Humphries to make a play on the ball, Humphrey to make a play on the ball, you have to go through his body. So what Lamar is doing here, throwing it to the outside, because you have number 7 coming across. And at this point, all you know is number 7. You don't know, if you're looking at the play, you don't know number 7 right here is doing, right? Again, you think you have a man concept because of the way that the DBs are playing, but you also know that there's a free man here, which is going to be open, right? You have 3 people here and you have 2 people here. So when you see that as well, right, usually you can say, okay, this might be a zone concept as well. You don't know. until a couple plays into it, right? So right now, I think Lamar is thinking, okay, I think this is a man concept, which is why I think Prochet will be open. But I don't know, right? I don't know if number 7 is just running an under zone here in order to, make this happen. Right now, again, when you see the blitzers, you kind of confirm it's man, but I'm just letting you know.
That kind of, that can kill a drive. Okay, that happens. And also this play was another one of those fluky plays. And it's not all just fluky bad plays that happen. Like, I did think that for the most part, the Panthers did a very good job of stopping the run, which we know that the Ravens, obviously a big part of their game is being able to run the football effectively. But the Panthers did a good job of stopping that. But also, again, something like this, which is just a complete fluky play. Baltimore has the ball inside Carolina territory, and they're actually inside field goal range. Again, for Justin Tucker, those sentences are practically mean the same thing. But Lamar Jackson takes the snap. He is going to look down the field, and you see right there, I mean, this is just absolutely one of those, like, 1 in a million type plays. It's weird because we actually saw 2 of these this week. We saw TJ Watt pull off this play, which is, I don't know how you really go about pulling it off. It's almost more so just it happens to you, it feels like. But you see as Lamar basically throws it right to Bravian Roy. That was the Panther player who gets the interception. I mean, again, it's like a tipped pass.
And for this one, guys, I mean, I'm not even going to go into this one that much. To be 100% honest, that's just a great play. And Lamar didn't, usually quarterbacks ain't looking at the, linemen when they're making these plays. So that's just a great play. There's nothing you can say there.
But it ends up being worse and gets intercepted. Like, it's a fluky play. It is. It's not something you expect to happen. A few of those, though, that's what can cause kind of for the slower start. I did think that stuff like this was a pretty big thing that happened to the Ravens. On top of them not being able to run the ball too effectively, this was kind of what slowed them down early on. But really, like, going over here, when things worked well, it felt like they worked really well. Like, at times, they were able to seemingly easily get guys open, and that's why I'm not really concerned about the slow stuff, because, hey, it's the NFL, right? You're going to have people.
I'm letting you guys know when I do this, I'm not trying to talk bad, but my graphics will be cooler than that. Just saying, okay? Shout out to the graphics, though.
Peaks and valleys. You're going to have ups and downs. Your offense isn't going to look awesome every single drive of every single game unless you're the Ravens when they went 14-2 down.
In the comments, put your smoke down about my background as well. I know you guys be making fun of me because my background is basic. It's going to get better. Don't worry.
1 year. But the way this play works is it's man coverage, which, notoriously the Ravens have had a difficult time, beating throughout the course of Lamar Jackson's career, but they've done a lot better job this season, and they're going to do a better job on this play. You see the route on your screen. This is the route that can get open, right? It's a relatively good route. Can kind of get over the middle of the field, so it would be a good angle for Lamar to make the throw. It's kind of past the player who's covering shallower over the middle, but underneath the safety who's deep, and a player who is...
So really quick though, guys, in this set right here, you kind of know you having a man here, right? Just based on how people are playing. They could break it out to zone, but it would be pretty difficult, especially on crossers as well, if you try to kick a zone here, because the middle is just so wide open, so you have to have a person drop. And again, you don't know if you want people to drop when you have Mark Andrews here, right? And the only person responsible for him is a linebacker that is at the line of scrimmage, right? That's like a tight end's dream. But
running this route is going to be Demarcus Robinson, who is not, known for being a superstar, although he did have a good game in this one. Watch out when this play begins. You see that the Panthers corners were playing very far off. I'm assuming, maybe given the situation, that's what they were doing. But you do have Robinson, who's relatively wide open. Lamar is able to hit him in stride, though, so perfect throw, which allowed Robinson to pick up a ton of yards there. That set up the field goal that was.
So, hey guys, I'm gonna tell you that this is not relatively wide open. In the NFL, I get it. The best quarterbacks make these plays.
Pick up a ton of yards there. That set up.
But if you look at what's happening, you have a guy running under. And again, I'm trying to keep myself small. And you have man over the top, right? With the routes that the Ravens run, right, you're going to have people run like curls, and they're going to be under as well. So I think this is
the field goal that was there.
This is a difficult throw. It has to be in one spot, and Robinson just beats this cornerback here. So again, I wouldn't call this. I wouldn't call that an easy throw. It probably is not the hardest throw Lamar has made, but it's not easy. I don't think.
3 points of the first half. So even in that tough first half and tough first 3 quarters, we did see some plays like this that made you say, okay, there's the Ravens. It just wasn't consistent enough. In the fourth quarter is when we definitely saw some more consistency, and this was an example of kind of fuck that it, stop beating themselves is what I thought in the fourth quarter. That's what I saw. Maybe you're gonna say that, oh no, that's not being fair to the Panthers because they had an impact in this game, and sure they did, but this is just what I saw that once the Ravens kind of started just playing their brand of football, they were really difficult for the Panthers to stop. This is an example of, while the running game wasn't working, one thing you do say is that running the ball helps set up things like play action, and now there's debate as to how true that is, but still, it is going to work on this play. Watch as Lamar runs the play action. The play action itself, wasn't crazy, but you did get to the point where you're able to get Mark Andrews wide open regardless. I'm not sure if the play action changed that or not, but either way, this is the kind of stuff that, again, when things worked, it was a weird game, right? Because things weren't working.
And so, guys, when I said like this is a tight end's dream, when you have a premier tight end running a zone and there's no person dedicated to him. This is how Travis Kelce gets a lot of his touchdowns as well, where you're having a player just run across the field in the zone. And just have safeties on them, right? And there's just nothing this guy could do because he has to run the entire way across, but he's not responsible for him. That's the hard part, is that he's not responsible for him. So by the time he sees Andrews cross his face, Andrews already has a step because he's playing zone. And so he probably saw it right at this hash here. And Andrews was already running open because he's not keying. This guy's not keying on Andrews specifically, which is the benefit you get when you play man. The only thing about man is that you have to have great corners to do it. So it's kind of one of the reasons why it was easy to kill the Ravens last season. Because when you play, especially the way the Ravens played last season with Wink, when you're blitzing and playing zone behind it, there's so many gaps that you kind of have to have corners like Marcus Peters who can predict these things and make plays.
Too consistently. There were some issues going on and things weren't getting like open super consistently or anything like that. But when plays were working, they didn't just work, they looked so easy. I mean, watch, Lamar's not going to miss that throw. You get Mark Andrews to pick up a big gain. So again, stuff like this is what you're going for. This is what you're trying to do to help make it a little easier for you to, again, win this football game against a team that realistically you were kind of hoping you'd blow out. I mean, again, it was a 13-point spread. So, only winning by 10 actually feels like Vegas is disappointed. The people that betted on you were actually disappointed in your performance. But, again, winning by 10 points is still a pretty impressive, performance. And we also saw stuff like this. You're still going to see the classic Lamar Jackson things. And again, it is a big point in this game.
And so before he gets into this, right, this is what I'm talking about with the run game here, guys. That's not consistent. The Panthers won this play, right? The Panthers won this play. They just weren't good enough to get a stop, right? So if we're going to look at this, watch how, the line, you see where the offensive line is, right? They're still on the blue line. There's a couple of Ravens who are pushing and winning in the end zone, but for most of them, they're at the blue line, right? Which is why, again, Lamar keeps it. But they fill the gaps perfectly. They have a person to take on the fullback, a person accountable for Kenyon Drake, and a person accountable for Lamar Jackson. It's just, again, it's hard to stop a grown man, especially with Lamar Jackson's speed, get into the end zone. So.
Right? Is it? I mean, I guess you could argue it's not, right? Because you're playing Baker Mayfield.
All right, so look at this, guys. You have the edge guy here. He has Drake here, right? So let's keep on going.
Mayfield.
Boom. So Drake is gone, right? Thus, you have the linebacker coming around here, right? And he accounts for the fullback, right? So now you're expecting this guy in the middle of the end zone. He's near the eye in Baltimore. He is supposed to be able to tackle Lamar Jackson. Now, is that something hard to do? Of course it's hard. But that is what he's supposed to do. He just couldn't do it. So again, the Panthers played really well in the run game. In a lot of ways, I think they outplayed us until again the fourth quarter. So let's go.
Who is not playing very good football, and the reality is you don't have to worry too much about your defense giving up a game-winning touchdown, but you know what? You'd like to not put yourself in that position if possible. It is the NFL.
And again, you guys can see, this is my last time stopping on this play for sure, but
not put yourself in that position.
Let's just pause it here. Look at this. Boom. No running back. Lamar made the right decision. The fullback is doing his job. He has to take the earliest person. And they guessed the play right? This man. So everybody manning up. So they guessed the play right. So there's a free guy for Lamar. That's what you want, right? Because again, there's 11 on 11, right? And most run plays, it's 10 on 11 because the quarterback doesn't run. But here's 11 on 11. So it's just this guy's responsibility to tackle Lamar.
Position if possible.
Right here. And he just couldn't do it. So
the NFL, stranger things have happened. All it takes is one miscommunication for things to go haywire very quickly. So, okay, you want to score a touchdown here. Well, this is one of the more difficult plays in the NFL to stop. It's the quarterback keeper with Lamar Jackson.
And the guy had, if you look at his action here, that guy who's supposed to get Lamar, he's looking at Lamar the entire way. He's not jabbing for the run. He's not looking for flats. He has Lamar the entire way.
And you do have to respect the handoff up the middle, especially in a 1st and goal situation where, all you need is to get 1 yard to get the first down right here. But instead, you're going to see Lamar Jackson fake the handoff, keep it himself. And again, Carolina played that actually okay, but it's so hard to stop. Lamar's able to.
All right. So again, I just went through. There's no defensive highlights, which is disappointing because that's what I really wanted to see. So in the future, I'll probably have to do that then. That was a little disappointing. I know everyone loves Lamar Jackson, but the defensive highlights is what I wanted to see. So, all right, guys, let me know what you think about it. Shout out to the creator there. Again, let me react. I appreciate it. So you guys let me know in the future, would you want to see us do these? Again, I can try to make concessions for you guys. It takes a lot of time, but I'll do it for you for the love of the game. So thank you guys so much, and go Ravens.